Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the 5Marks Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Martin115, joined as always by my beautiful dance partner.
Hello, everybody. I'm Carmo. Thanks for coming back for another week.
I need a new intro for you. Keep calling me my dance partner.
Yeah, we'll figure it out some other day.
I like it. It's nice. It has a ring to it.
It's nice. I've said it for maybe like 4 or 5 interviews now, so I think I need to find. At one point, I called him the Robin to my Batman. So
it's kind of level that we're at. Like
it's figuring out stuff to do. But ladies and gentlemen, it's another week here. Again, we're on the road to Scrapper Mania with OTT, and our road of interviews continues with a big person in OTT. Some of you might know him as Dennis, but I think more people would know this person as Mr. Sexy Waistcoat himself, Mr. Dennis Murphy. How are we doing, Dennis?
How you doing, guys? Yeah, it's it's true. I don't know if I'm a big name in OTT, but the waistcoat's over. Let's be real. The waistcoat's over. It's not me. It's the fabric. Yeah.
And so it's funny as well. I was looking through like your Twitter and stuff. It was like I seen like one tweet where you put up like, as soon as I got home, I told you I wasn't stupid.
That was it. Like you see, I was kind of so when I started, I was like, okay, well, I was kind of so in my head about like sounding proper and doing all this stuff. I hadn't thought, oh fuck, what am I gonna wear? I was like, and then I kind of just went, oh fuck it, I have dress pants, I have a shirt, and I wanted to look somewhat professional, so I threw on the waistcoat as well. And first few events it was grand, and then I think it was Kieran Mark Antonio, I think, could be, started the chant in Belfast, and it just and when that started, I was just like, it's like, it doesn't look stupid. I fucking told you. And since then, now my wardrobe is full of the fucking things. I swear, it's there's a lot of fucking waistcoats in my dress.
Soon enough, you'll just have to start selling them. Like, here, lads, this one's from.
I actually I threw them out at the last stadium event. I actually, at the interval, I brought some of my old ones out after the interval and just threw them out into the crowd because I was just like, I can't. I'd love to say it was me being generous. It's just like, I can't store these anymore. Fucking just take them.
It's one of those things where it's like, lads, I'm not going to pay. You don't have to pay me. I will pay you to take this off me and get rid of it.
Do you know something was really sweet though? Because a kid came up to me in Belfast actually wearing one of them.
No way.
And whatnot. It was really sweet. It was really sweet. It was very nice.
And in reality, he said, "That's mine. Give it back, thanks."
Yeah.
I have that one back now. You want an autograph on it? No.
Yeah. It's still weird, it's weird, but I love it. I love it. It's the weirdest. Jesus Christ, if you had asked me what would get chanted at me, that was not what was in the fucking wheelhouse.
But you know what? That is such a wrestling thing, because the smallest of things. Chris Jericho got a list over, a clipboard with a bit of paper with people's names on it, and somehow you got a waistcoat over.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. Like, honestly, when I started, I was kind of mentally prepping myself for heckles and because I was taken over from Butch, who had been around since day dot, of it, and I was fully aware that, like, wrestling fans, especially being a wrestling fan, I know, like that, we get who we like and we like them, and that's it, and we like how they do it, and I was fully aware of that, and I didn't want to come in and be the new Butch. I wanted to try and leave his stuff there. He did a great job and can be appreciated, and but I was fully ready to be taunted to hell, fully ready to just be like, who are you, all that stuff, but no, nothing. Everybody's been really since day one, locker room fans, everybody's just been so nice.
And that's one thing we keep mentioning with the lads is, like, wrestling can be a very, very, like, it owes you nothing. You know, the rest of us owes you absolutely nothing, and it can have bad things. And I'm brand new to watching the Irish scene. Like, I knew of OTT, but never watched it. And it was Carmo that got me into watching OTT, and the support and the love and everything from everyone at OTT is just crazy good.
Yeah, it's meant like I was kind of before all this, I was kind of late to the party too with OTT. Before all this happened, like I was I went up there. I think it was a stag party. We went to an OTT show, and the main event I think was, oh God, it was a triple threat. Ryan Smile was the world champion. Full body paint. He looked like Finn in the. I can't remember who he was again, but amazing match. Absolutely fantastic match. I remember I was just hooked, and from then on, actually, I started training to be a wrestler. From there, and then pandemic, all this stuff happened, and that's how I kind of ended up where I am now. So I had a kind of leg up when I came in because I knew most of the locker room already from training. I knew a lot of them, and so I did kind of have that little bit of an advantage, and that I wasn't so uncomfortable when I started. But yeah, I was kind of late to the party too. But I look, like when I was viewing it as a fan, it was just like, holy shit, this is unreal, you know. It was so good, like, and yeah, to see the likes of Ryan Smile, and I'm trying to remember who else was at. There was I think War Machine were at it actually as well, and yeah, there was War Machine. I'm missing so many, but JD McDonough, Jordan Devlin, as well, of course, at the time, and that was back when the first incarnation of the Social Elite. You know, and all that as well.
My favorite tag team right now.
Yeah. They're great. They are brilliant. They are. I mean, Bullet Smith, for such a kind of a young guy, he's so talented.
I was literally just praising him. We had him there 2 days ago for recording, and I was just praising, especially after homecoming in Dublin. Oh my gosh, he stood out in that match like crazy, you know. And I even said to him, Joe, because there was a spot he dove to the outside towards the end. I think he went out to dove out to hit Doris. And you know, he was saying, yeah, you know, like it was bad. And I went, no, I was there from my point of view, like you had the fans there. So it was either, okay, I'm gonna jump and I'm gonna hurt everybody, or I'm gonna jump, catch my feet on the rope, catch Doris, still make it look good, and nobody's hurt. And he went, that's a great way to look at it, actually, yeah.
Well, you see, we're all our own worst critics in everything. And like, so he'll be hard on himself, but I mean, he works so hard. They all work so hard. The likes of him, Renzo, Ilya, these guys who are new in, the Sem, like these guys work so hard, and they deserve the success that they're now getting and the recognition that they're getting. They really are working their bollocks off, to just get better. They don't stop. They're just trying to get better. That's all it is. And yeah, all the respect in the world to them, even if he is a fucking asshole sometimes. you know.
We'll get to assholes and stuff like that later, but
I'm sure we will.
I'll start off like the question stuff with one question we've asked all the lads that have come on. So obviously we're all wrestling fans. Do you have any idea what the first wrestling memory that comes to your head? Like,
yeah, definitely. Shawn Michaels versus Tito Santana. This is WrestleMania 3, I want to say. 4? No, after that. Could be 8. Jesus Christ, I don't know. It was the main event was Hogan versus Sid Justice when Papa Shango did the run in and Mrs. Q, and then fucking Warrior returned.
Yeah.
And then also on that card was Roddy Piper versus Bret Hart as well. But the very first, I think you might be right actually. But the very first match I remember is Shawn Michaels versus Tito Santana. I remember, I'm going to show my age now, but I had back when video shops were a thing. I used to go and I rented this. They had one wrestling tape, and it was that one. And I rented it, and I never returned it. And I kept it, and I kept watching that fucking thing over and over and over again, just the same event. I knew every bit of it inside now. I don't know why it just hooked me. These larger than life characters like you fucking Papa Shango and a Warrior, of course, but then like you just had amazing, like if you look at the card, you had amazing workers. You had Sean and Tito Santana, who doesn't get mentioned enough, but he's another phenomenal worker. And then of course like Piper and Hart. You can't go too far wrong. I just remember his promo. He cut such a weird promo, and he was talking about how Brett's like he'd go visit the Hart family, and Brett's mother would make him sandwiches, and she'd slap on the bologna. Well, there'd only be one slice of bologna because we're poor, and then like and he was just talking about making sandwiches, and it was so fucking weird when I think back of it. It was so weird, but it was Piper, so it was just whatever, But yeah, that's my first one, I think I remember, and then from then on it was every Saturday morning, watching WWF, and then on Monday nights I was more of a WCW guy, because Monday nights I got to see Nitro live because I had TNT. I don't know how I had TNT, but I did have TNT.
In Ireland?
Yeah, I don't ask me how. It played old movies, old black and white movies, all day, every day until Monday night. It would show Monday Nitro, and I watched that to death, and I joined at like just the birth of the NWO and everything, so it was the perfect time to hit, and I was hooked. It was the coolest thing ever, when you're starting off, you're hitting your teens, and NWO, it's like that's your prime demographic. That is like they're the coolest fuckers in the world. You
pretty much got to like see that like turn, like shift, we'll say, towards the Attitude Era. Then growing up.
Yeah. I didn't know. As I say, I followed WCW more, but I was fully aware of it because, like that, the war was so prevalent. Like it was so, because it was a genuine war. It was like it was who's going to jump ship. You don't know. And it was mainly going like WWF to WCW, and then suddenly, eventually, I think like the first big, well, he wasn't even really a big name, but first notable jump the other direction was Jericho.
Yeah,
and that was quite late on. That was after everything else, and I remember thinking he was the coolest motherfucker ever as well, just because of that entrance and that build up. But even in the cruiserweight division, he like in WCW, he was so entertaining, and everything. But you see, WCW had everything WF didn't at the time. Now, arguably, in my opinion, that probably killed them in the end. But the model worked great for them at the time, which was they had their old draws, the old WWF guys that they'd use to sell tickets, and then they'd send out the cruiserweights to actually do the work, like, and put on the actual fucking amazing matches. Guerrero and Mysterio and all these lads would go out and steal the show, but then Hogan and Hall and Nash would be there to kind of bring in the money.
Pop.
Yeah, but arguably that killed them in the end, because then they started relying too much on that.
Yeah,
and they never made their own guys, apart from Goldberg, obviously.
Nah, but like this, what else can you do with big old Bill in the end? Really, like
that's it. And DDP as well. He was over as fuck.
DDP was actually,
yeah.
As well, like I think there's more in the cruiserweights this day and age that you look back on. Like one of the things you'll constantly see online is Jericho and that list of 1,000 holds.
I saw it, such a simple promo, worked beautifully, and it was just so easy. Like he just read off like 3. They went to break. He insulted the crowd. When the camera came back, he just went 1,000. I was brilliant, genius, really, really smart done. And just so good. I think Jericho said it in his book that he started realizing that nobody was paying attention, like in the office of what he was doing. So he just started doing his own shit and like making his own angles, which is boggles
Mental.
my mind to think of. Like, yeah,
A big example, the Goldberg one, I don't think was actually supposed to happen. I'm pretty sure Chris just started, fuck it,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for Goldberg.
yeah. He according to him, from what if I remember it correctly, yeah, he was saying he essentially just wrote himself into the angle, and he was saying the idea was he was never gonna be competitive or beat Martin, but he just like the whole thing, and then yeah, there's a whole fucking thing about Goldberg didn't like it and all that stuff. But yeah, to answer your question, Shawn Michaels and Tito Santana.
We've come a long, long way.
I do that a lot, and I apologize.
No, that's
I tangent
You're
a
good.
lot.
You're
We
good.
were saying this to I think it was either Matthew or Josh. One of them like was apologizing, like, "Oh, we're so sorry for like raffling on." We're like, "No, that's brilliant for us because that just
Makes our job
increases
easier.
the time."
Yeah,
I do
know?
that a lot. I get into, I just like, I start one way and I end up fucking way over there. I don't know how it
You're
happens.
good. You're good.
We
I'm actually
all
just
do
gonna.
that.
I'm actually going to ask you a WCW question. So one
Yeah.
is obviously there's a lot of like really, really good matches. There's a lot of bad matches that come out of WCW. Have you a favorite match from WCW?
I think it's kind of the go-to one. It's Mysterio and Guerrero. I think it was Halloween Havoc or Sold Out. One of those ones, I think.
It was Halloween Havoc.
Yeah.
Halloween Havoc. Yeah, it's just it's a masterclass. It's just an absolute masterclass of their stuff. They speed it up, slow it down just in the exact right points. They take advantage of each other's strengths and weaknesses. It's so good. And they have the crowd for two lads who were, like all the cruiserweights, not pushed. They had the crowd in the palm of their hands, like they controlled them every inch of the way. It was so good. And just like, yeah, from an entertainment standpoint, and just to see, even if you're looking at it like with wrestlers' eyes, to see the technicalities of a match and see when they're taking a break, when they're getting a breather, when they're kind of going to burst into the speedy stuff, when and how they're just helping each other on the way, knowing exactly what they're doing. It's just so good. Absolutely phenomenal match.
What would you say is the worst WCW match?
There's so many. There really is. Judy Bagwell on a pole springs to mind, which is awful.
Wasn't that like a Viagra and a pole at some point as well?
Russo loved his pole matches. There was another one. I think there was a paternity test one. It was
what?
Yeah, it was David Flair. Fuck, I can't remember. Or was that just an angle? No, it was just an angle. It was David Flair. Basically, David Flair at the time was shoot with Stacy Keibler, but also with her on TV. And then they had this whole thing where she was meant to be pregnant, and then he claimed he wasn't the father, and then she wasn't. Oh my God, it was a mess. It was a mess, and it was just.
Was this towards the end?
So bad. Oh yeah.
Oh, this.
If you actually want to see one that's bad earlier on, there's a really bad one. It's Alex Wright, who's phenomenal. That's Wunderkind. Alex Wright versus Jesus, what's his name? He was in the Four Horsemen, and he never really he never fit. Paul Roma. That's who.
Yeah.
And Roma, it looked like Roma went into business for himself, and he just was not cooperating with Alex Wright at all. And like Alex Wright had just come in. He'd just come in, and I think the story is they'd done a tour in Germany, I think, and they had Alex Wright on it. And then they just signed him to WCW and decided to bring him in and give him a bit of a push, and kind of bring him up as kind of this young, handsome star, and they were going to bring him up a little bit. And Roma, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but it's very clear that Roma is not working with him at all. Like, he's not selling for him. He's not doing anything for him at all. And it just the match is the shits at the end. It's what happens when somebody just goes off for themselves. And it's just
there was
really,
a lot
really
of
bad.
that back in the day as well. Like people just protecting their spot almost,
Well, that's when there's no repercussions and the office isn't really keeping an eye on you. Like it leads to shit like that. Because make no mistake, I mean, I think it's fair to say everybody, myself included, involved in wrestling, I think you have to have some sort of ego to be in it, because of the nature of what you do. You're going out in front of people and you want them to look at you. It's just, you have to.
100%.
Yeah, and sometimes that ego can kind of get out of control a little bit if not kept in check. If you don't have a few people around you to say, hey, cop the fuck on, what are you doing? And remember who the fuck you are. Like, and I think it could be easy to kind of maybe get swept away in it a little bit.
No, like it's nice to know though there's not too much of that nowadays, as well, depending on who you listen to and stuff like that. Obviously the biggest one right now is all the stuff that happened at All Out, but like realistically none of that's there nowadays. Everyone's kind of looking to push each other, and help each other.
I think that's how you have a successful company in anything, whether it's wrestling or otherwise. You need to. I know wrestling is inherently selfish in that it's one person generally, unless they're in a team, going out and they're trying to perform. But like, and using OTT as an example, like I speak for most, if not all, of the locker room. Like that is, we want the company to succeed. Like everybody getting stuff out of that and elsewhere, brilliant. That's a bonus. But at the end of the day, we want OTT to succeed, to be better, to get it to be recognized on the world stage, as the best promotion in Europe, and kind of keep pushing it to be that way. And we're always trying to do what's right for the betterment of everybody. Because if we succeed, then that means more opportunities for people coming up, and it means everybody succeeds, at the end of the day. And I think, speaking of them, we don't want to see anybody pushed down or anything like that. We just, wrestling's brilliant, and there's room for everybody.
Exactly. I think it's as well, like when we first started this podcast, it's nearly a year now. Carmo, because I think your first show was Scrapper Mania, wasn't it, last year?
My first OTT show was Scrapper Mania last year.
And he was saying, like, all right, lads, if we're going to do this, here's one thing I want to do. I want to push Irish wrestling. And we're like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. And we went to our first show, which was the School of Irish Wrestling in August. And the two of us went up and going, this is gonna be some indie show, lots of mistakes, all this. And oh my God, were we just blown away, completely wrong. I was like, oh my God, Carmel, we need to push this. These guys are amazing. Because aren't they thinking, they're nothing like WWE and AEW. Probably better. Like Homecoming, hands down. I said this to Carmel that night. Homecoming was 10 times better than the Royal Rumble that night.
That's the thing, and the fans lend themselves to it. It's such an atmosphere, and generally speaking, everybody's just there for the same reason, to have fun. And like, speaking for myself, like, I want to see OTT succeed. I want to see Fight Factory, Hard Knocks. I want to see who am I forgetting? Probably loads of other people. Titanic. Oh, everybody like this. I want to see them succeed, because I do believe that there's room for everybody to do it, and it can be worked that together. I'm not one for, I don't know if it exists. I way above my pay grade, but I know from myself and from several others, like, there's no like boundaries, or you can't go work here, or you can't do that, or any shit like that. It's Irish wrestling. We just want Irish wrestling to be put on the map, because we genuinely think it's good, and it's as good as the world. We can rival some of the top stars.
100%. I think it's like, as well, with OTT getting its name out there. Obviously, big names are coming in, but like, matches like I'd love to see the Draw versus FTR. I think that would be an absolutely amazing match, and it doesn't have to be an OTT. Have the lads from the Draw, the lads from the Detachment, whatever, go over. It's a huge thing for us, And then as right now, you've got someone like Jordan Devlin who's in NXT, who I guarantee you he's over there going, lads, gotta check this out.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, we're lucky in the fact that Joe has kind of maintained his relationships with the bigger companies. So it does mean that you truly don't know who might appear at OTT, because there are relationships there with WWE, which is documented. There are relationships there with AEW, which is documented. Like anybody could show up at any point. There is that famous clip now, pre me and all that stuff, but of Finn Balor just unannounced walking out. It can happen, and it does happen. That there are surprises. Scotty 2 Hottie showed up the first Complex show unannounced. This stuff there are working relationships. I know he wasn't under contract to anybody at the time, but these are people that relationships are fostered, and Joe is very good at kind of maintaining those. And if the stars align and the time is right and all that stuff, you could see anybody show up.
No, that's one of the biggest sellers that we keep giving out here is you go to an OTT show, you never know. Like the biggest surprise is obviously homecoming there was the announcement of Santino. There's actually a video, like obviously beforehand it was everyone messing like, Santino's the best, and then just boom, music. Oh my God, thank God I was recording, because I jumped out of my chair screaming like, no way, Santino. But you never know who's going to turn up now.
I have to give full props to the SEM for that because it was going to be announced. It was going to be announced that evening, but that whole drop in the car thing, that's all the SEM. That was all him doing that. I got to give him props. I thought that was fantastically done.
Very good.
Fantastically done. I talked to him a lot about his character when he was going out, because at the time I was doing a similar character to a degree, face paint wise and all that stuff, and he very graciously came to me and asked about it. They're nothing alike, but still he didn't have to do that, but he's such a good person that he came and he chatted to me about it, and I've tried, like, the little help I can give, I've tried to help him with, but he's so in tune with his character. It's fantastic to see, and he's so good. Like, I keep your eye on him.
Oh, don't you worry. Like, this is
going to be big.
This is not the first time. This is about the 5th interview where and for once it's not me praising Sam or Andrea. It's yourself. I'm like we had him on here there a couple of weeks ago, and oh my God, just such a nice, down to earth guy,
and genuinely nice as well. Yeah, it's genuinely nice. He is like that. Like, he is a genuinely good guy. I wish him nothing but the best. And he'll get it. He'll get it as well, because he works his ass off. He works his ass off, and he's worked so hard at the character and getting more solid in the ring as well. That his time will come, and he'll be very popular. He'll be very popular in OTT. He already is, but he'll be more so as well.
I hope to see him like brought out and stuff like that, because we've got a couple of things that we're working on with him at the moment, but like, even after homecoming there, I spent 15 to 20 minutes just chatting with him.
Yeah.
He will literally take the time to talk to anybody.
100%. And like, as I said, look, a signal of that is he came and talked to me about the character, even though our characters are nothing alike, and he really didn't need to do that at all, but he did.
Speaks volumes.
Like, it was kind of like, well, why you talk? No, I don't have any issue with it. Why would I ever have an issue with it? I've appeared like 3 times as a character. It's not a big deal, but he's so good. I can't praise Andrea enough. He works so hard, and I really he's my one to watch. I think of the people that are already like there's already people that are obviously going to be like Renzo and all that. They're obviously going to be bigger. They're obviously going to be fantastic, right? I don't need to say that. But Sam, I think is just he's on an upward trajectory. Jesus words, and I think yeah, I think he'll do really well, and he deserves it. He deserves it too.
Absolutely.
But speaking of your character, now this is the one place where we could not find any research or do anything when it came. But you talk about like your character. Obviously, it was a clown type character, face paint and all.
Yeah.
Tell us about obviously your wrestling time and being that character, because that's the one thing
there wasn't much wrestling time. There wasn't much. It's not off the table. He makes a comeback at some point somewhere. It's been discussed in places. But I basically I started wrestling and I very quickly identified that I'm older. I was not as fast as anybody else. I can look scary though if I need to. So I kind of was like, but then I'm just another big bald guy. Like it's boring. So I have an acting history. So I thought, okay, well maybe I can do a character work. So and then I took during the pandemic I was taking classes with Sin Bodhi. I don't know if you're aware of Sin Bodhi. He was Kizarni in WWF back in the day, but he does a very similar clown type character now, and he kind of discussed it with me and all that stuff, doing it, and so I started shooting vignettes with myself and a good friend of mine, Leon, who had begun training. He had started training the worst time, like 2 months before the pandemic hit. And we started doing stuff to keep ourselves entertained. But then Billy Bedlam, who was running Phoenix at the time, contacted and wanted to use us in some capacity. So we said, yeah, no problem, and basically went down, and we started off in the a faction. It was called the ISP, the Insane Skull Posse. Worst name ever. Not my choice. But it was a lot of fun. It was me, Leon as Grim was his character. So there was a lot of work on into. Basically, one thing I could always do was talk. I could always cut a mean promo. So we decided, okay, I'll do all the talking. And Leon would tell you himself he's not a brilliant promo. So what we decided for him to do was he'd be creepy. He had this kind of half mask thing, and he would literally just go like that, and he wouldn't speak, but I'd speak for him. There's me, him. There was Skull Collector, and then Billy Bedlam in this faction. And we appeared a couple of times, did a few things involving Titanic's invasion of Phoenix as well. I got a nasty quadruple power bomb, which there is footage of as well. I actually have it. Say I can send it to you later if you want as well.
Dude.
100%.
Took a nasty quadruple power bomb, which sucked so bad. From Steve Carvel, JDP, Rocky Starr, and Blake Richards. And then that was the return then of Marion Armstrong that night to Phoenix Wrestling. And it was a lot of fun. And then just like with the folding of Phoenix and stuff like that, we kind of stopped it. And then I was talking about doing, possibly either wrestling or some other thing with Hard Knocks, but at the moment, just time. I mean, I work. I'm full time with OTT. I'm full time with NLW as well. And to take another company on as well, then would be I like, if I'm committed, I like to be committed. and 100%. So I just haven't had the time to really trot it out. And obviously, the character's such a weird departure from me. His name is Cutter, by the way, but the character is such a weird departure for me that it couldn't be. Well, maybe you never know. Maybe it could be used in OTT. I don't know. But it's a very dark. Basically, it's look to trim it down for you. It was essentially, you know, the way they say the best characters you turned up to
Turned
11,
up, yeah.
right? That's not me, but I like to think that's in one of the promos I cut that I have on my Facebook, and I may have put on Twitter as well. I think in one of the promos I cut, I'm introducing myself as Cutter, and I'm saying how I'm your reflection. I'm everything you hate. You don't want to acknowledge me, but I'm here. And that's kind of it, is that he was created as kind of, he's the dark part we all have that you don't want to admit you have, but he's there, and he will do the things you don't want to do.
Okay, that goes really dark.
So yeah, he gets violent and dark. That was the whole point of him, is that he has the creepy face paint, but he has a bullet hole in his head and all this stuff, and the clown thing is meant to be not so much he's a circus clown. It's more of a I dare you to laugh at me. You know, it's more that kind of thing. You know, being growing up, you know, being a bullied kid, and all that, and it's kind of like, yeah, laugh at me now. I'm giving you a reason. I'm putting the paint on. I'm giving you a reason to laugh at me, but I bet you won't. Yeah, you know, that's it. That's kind of the thought behind the character. But you'll see him again. You'll see him again at some point. I won't say where. You'll see him at some point.
Yeah.
Look forward to that.
Yeah, he'll arrive, and chances are, chances are he'll have a friend with him, a friend that people know.
Ooh,
yeah,
interesting. Well, look, just want to ask you there as well. Like, obviously, you've been watching wrestling for quite a while. How was it actually transferring to becoming a wrestler and actually getting into training and stuff like that?
It was so difficult. I started too late. I started way too late. Now, I talk about this with Foxy and stuff all the time, is that I started when I was like 31, started training. That's like, in one part it was great because I had my head screwed on, and I was able to kind of keep a level head about certain things. For instance, when it kind of became clear that full-time wrestling is not on the cards for me, it was a lot easier for me to say, well, that's not the end. There's other jobs I can do to be involved. Whereas some people go in, and because it's not on the cards for everybody, if you go in, sometimes it's not, and it wasn't necessarily for me. But it doesn't mean that there's not another position for you. You could be a referee, be a ring announcer, be a commentator, be a manager. There's roles you can take that you can slot into. If you love the business, like, which I adored the business, I just wanted to be involved. So I didn't really care what I got to do. But starting it, and the other side of that then is that it was really late for me, in that I was slower, obviously. I was out of shape. And you're in there with machines. Like, at the time, like when I started, it was in MSW, so I was there training with Danny Cross, Kelly Oaks Lynch. You know, you're trying to keep up with, like, Danny Cross. I mean, me trying to keep up with that is stupid, you know. But like, so it wasn't on the cards for me there to do it. But the transition, I never really, I wouldn't have, I never really call myself a wrestler, or I never even did, even when I did wrestling match, because I didn't do it enough. I didn't do it enough to, in my eyes, qualify me as a wrestler. You know, because like I had various things stop me. So like I was older when I started, so at that point, I have bills to pay. I've jobs, you know, I have all that stuff I need to look after. I can't just go. I live in Waterford. I can't travel to Dublin
all the time.
4 or 5
True.
times a week.
Yeah.
I can't do that. Uh, Stuff like I never minded the bumps and all that. That was fine. That was no issue. But it was just not having the time to do it in the middle of kind of when I felt I was getting to a good place. My father passed, so I had to take some time off for that because mentally I was not good. So I took like a year out from doing it then, and the pandemic. I was just kind of like, okay, this is not in the cards for me. It's not doable. And then I kind of resigned myself to doing bit pieces here and there. And then the opportunity came along to audition to be an announcer, and so I took that, definitely.
Well, let's talk about that, because obviously that was, I think, in 2021. That opportunity came along, you know, and obviously so you went to an audition and everything. So, how'd that go?
Well, I did and I didn't. So we were the opportunity arose towards the tail end of the pandemic, so there was no in-person thing. But I knew Joe already because, as I said, I trained with him. So I knew Joe, and at the time I was working in radio, as well. So I had a background of talking and being able to project and being able to have a clear dialect, etc., etc. So what happened? I'll tell you the whole story. What happened was, just so I can talk the ear off you more. What happened was, basically the opportunity arose that OTT needed a commentary position filled. Their color commentator had left, and the opportunity to replace him had arisen. So I messaged Joe, saying, "Hey, is there any way I can throw my name into the hat? Long shot, but I just want to put my name into the hat for it." He told me there was, several considerations, but no problem. Could I send on an audition tape? So I went and I found an old OTT match from the Tivoli where it was Ryan Smile versus Pete Dunne. And that match had no commentary over it. This was pre Ingo and pre commentary. And so I just did a commentary track over that. And I sent that to Joe, and he liked it and all that, and he said he'd be in touch. A few weeks later, he got back in touch and said they were going to go in a different direction. They were going to go with Jamie Coleman, and I instantly went, "Yeah, that perfect sense. Jamie Coleman's brilliant, absolutely fantastic. If I got it above him, that is stupid. That absolutely not. He deserved it." He said, "But would you be interested in going for the ring announcer position?" And I said, "Definitely." And from then it was all guns blazing, and we went to the Belfast show. I was nervous as hell, and I watched it back there not that long ago with a friend, and it was just, oh no, it was so bad. It was I know, again, we're our own worst critics, and I know, like, Joe was happy. He actively told me he was happy during the show, and that's all that matters. But I can't watch it. It's just, I've changed so much of what I do, because I know people, including myself, view it as just a ring announcer, but I take it very seriously because yeah, I'm just a ring announcer, but there's lots of little jobs that I can do to make the wrestlers appearance better, and to get them over, and to really give them a pop and give them a proper, strong, professional introduction. And at the start, when it was just terrible, because I didn't know what I was doing, and I have this nasty habit of, when I'm talking, of constantly moving. And I saw them and I was like, oh my God, I'm fucking doing it again. I'm fucking going leg to leg. And so I've stopped that. I rarely do that now. I kind of keep, it's constantly in my head that I was like, stick on the spot, and that's it. And you know, like everything, look, you try stuff, some stuff doesn't work, some stuff does. Boss likes some things, doesn't like other things, so you chop and change. But like my since I got it, and since I was kept on after that first show, it's like one of the things I said was like to Joe was like, I'm not going to let you down. And again, I know like it's viewed as just a ring announcer, but I take it so seriously in that I want to be the best at that job that I can be, because I am genuinely delighted to be involved in the business in any way, shape, or form. So I want to keep that. So I want to keep trying to be the best that I can be, so that if somebody takes my spot, they've got to be unbelievable. You know, like, you know, so I want to be the best at it. I want to do the best thing I can. And again, a load of these guys and girls, I respect them so much, and I want to make their moments special for somebody like making their debut or a big match, and I see how important it is to them, and to know that I can give them that little surge of adrenaline when they hear their name said in the big kind of booming voice, that it makes me happy. I like trying to help those folks as much as I can, any way I can, you know. And I think, but it's been so much fun. I love it. I do, you know.
And obviously, then the crowd getting involved with you.
I love it too, and it's always, you know, it'll start when I'm walking up to the to the middle of the ring, and it'll start, and I'm sure most people see I get a little smile on my face in there, but I'm like, nope, I can't. I'm not, because one of the it was really funny. I'll give you a little backstage on it. Was I was one of the first things Joe Cabret ever said to me was, don't try to get yourself over. If you get over, brilliant. It'll happen in its own time. Brilliant. Don't try to get yourself over. And he's completely correct, by the way. That's not my job. And likewise, Foxy will tell you the same about himself. That's not his job. Job is not to be over. We're workers. We're there to get other people over. And then shortly after that, the sexy waistcoat chant starts, and I can't remember if it was Joe or Foxy said it to me. I can't remember, but it was just like, you do realize you're going to have to buy all the fucking waistcoats now. And yeah, fucking no, yeah. And it was funny to me. He said, "Don't get over," and then what nobody could have foreseen getting over gets over.
It's gotten so bad to the point that you've got seasonal waistcoats now. Like, we had the Christmas party, you had a Christmas one.
Mm-hmm.
So
I have to keep trying to change it up.
So we've got Scrapper Mania coming up. That's Paddy's Day weekend. Can't wait for the Paddy's Day one.
Oh. I had a few ideas for it, but Jesus Christ. I mean, it starts adding up, man. I mean, the money, it really does start adding up. But I will kind of the stadium ones, they're the ones I do invest a bit more money in them. Because I figure, you know, that's our mania. That's Scrapper Mania. It's got to, you know, but again, there's a fine line. This sounds so stupid, but it's like, it's a fine line. I'm talking about a fucking waistcoat, but I don't want it to be this fucking garish thing that again draws away from everybody else in the fucking ring. So there is a fine line of being something cool and a little kind of nod to the fans, and still trying to be professional, you know, as well. So but it's fun. It's always fun.
So what you're saying is for Scrapper Mania, it's gonna be a Chris Jericho LED type one.
My God, could you fucking imagine? That'd be brilliant. That'd be amazing. Jesus Christ.
And it just flashes sexy waistcoat.
Could you imagine the booze though if I came out to his music?
The pop. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, it's the fucking ring announcer.
It would get a pop for literally 0.5 a second, and then just it's fucking dense.
Oh yeah, the disappointment would be
Boom.
I can't overstep. I can't ruin the cheers. I like them too much. I don't want to ruin them.
Absolutely.
We can make Foxy your Kevin Owens as well.
Foxy's already my Kevin Owens.
How do you find it then preparing for like shows? I suppose like if you look at Scrappermania last year, you had the likes of RVD, Scotty Too Hottie, like names that you're not regularly announcing. Do you find it difficult to kind of prepare, or do you set yourself up for it? Like,
I'll give you another backstage one. I did until I smoked weed with RVD, and then I was just like outside smoking weed with RVD and going, "This is fucking unbelievable." I'm fucking what the fuck. No, it's terrifying. Look, it's terrifying. Like it really is. I'm a perfectionist, so I want things to be correct. As it is, the problem is really like I want to do away with having a notepad and stuff like that. But the problem is when you have such a rotating roster, that it's very difficult to and again, I want to make sure I get their announcements correct. Especially these big names coming in, I want to do it justice. So I don't want to get weights wrong and stuff like that. And I'm trying to remember a million other things at the same time. And so that's why I have the notepad and stuff. So, but it can be the scariest part is, and I will say I have not met any of them that have not been anything but lovely. But it's a scary part at the start where your inner Mark comes out and I need to go over and talk to them. But it's Scotty Too Hottie, or it's Rob Van Dam, or it's Carlito. How do I go over and you're like and you're on your own and you're just fuck, and you kind of have to bite the bullet. It's gotten easier than it was, but still I don't think there's a point where like it's part of the fun of it. I don't think there's a point where that'll end. It's just it's a scary moment trying to go over, and they always have that moment where they're like, who the fuck let this guy back here? And I go, oh, it's you. Okay, grand. And then they give me the details, and it's all good, But yeah, it's daunting.
I love that Rob Van Dam story because I can't. One of the lads at work were talking about something, and it was one of the lads said like his first time smoking.
To be fair, let me add in. It wasn't just me and Rob Van Dam. I would say it was me, Raven. It was me, Raven Creed, and Rob Van Dam. I'll just to give her the props as well. She was there too.
It's such a like when in Rome thing, because I remember saying, I can't remember what the lad said, but I remember I said, oh sure, Fluffy like David Iglesias, like one of the first times he ever did it was with Snoop Dogg, and it was like cameras on, everything goes, well, the first time you're gonna do it, it's gotta be with Snoop Dogg. So fuck it. I was like, oh, well, Rob Van Dam's in town. Fuck it, why not?
That was kind of it. It didn't really matter. You were just like, if Rob Van Dam wants to smoke, I'm going to smoke fucking weed with Rob Van Dam. I don't fucking care. It's Rob Van Dam. If John Moxley wants to have a smoke of a cigarette with me, I'm going to fucking have a smoke with John fucking Moxley. It's what you do.
If he wants to put me through that table, I'm going through that table.
That's generally the thing. I remember actually, I remember Will Ospreay wanted to beat the shit out of me. Kayfabe. Not you, but he wanted to wreck me with him and Aussie Open. And Damon was involved too. And it was his whole plan. He was like, they were going to throw me off this whole thing. And Joe just stepped in and went, why? I went, no. Like, this is stupid. And he was right. But inside I was like, oh, let them do it, please.
Joe, if you don't mind, I'd really like to get beaten up today.
Yeah, that's kind of how all my interactions go. Right?
But we brought up Foxy there a while ago, and like if you cannot, it's like Foxy and Dennis. It's like it just goes together. You see all the photos up on your Twitter and everything. Talk about the friendship with Foxy, obviously, that you have developed.
Well, actually, we were friends before I became the ring announcer. We were friends, but working together, like we work together, we travel together. It's tag partner life. You when you're together, you're together, and that's it. It helps your working relationship and it helps everything. I think for the ring announcer and the referee, we work so closely and we have to be in tune with so many things. There's a lot of shit we do between us for the match. Like I'll relay messages, I'll give times, he'll give stuff back. We'll kind of half the workload between us to try and make each other's jobs easier. So it's important you have a really good working relationship with the person you're going to be working so closely with. And yeah, we've gotten on since day one. Like he's a nerd, I'm a nerd. And we've just gotten on. He's my brother, like absolutely, and we have each other's backs completely. Like in wrestling, I think you have lots of friends, but very, very few that you become ultra close with. I'm lucky enough that I have two, in that I'm ultra close with, and we're essentially like a road family. Like we travel everywhere together, and we eat together. We do everything together, because we enjoy each other's company. And I think it's just, again, it makes it all easier when you're doing long journeys, when you're doing whatever, and you're away from home for 3 or 4 nights or whatever at a time. It makes it all easier to have that. So Foxy's the best at what he does. He genuinely is. He's so good at what he does, and the fact that he's not yet snapped up is a blessing for Irish wrestling, and I don't know what they'll do when it happens. Because he's for fans like see him as a referee, but if you ask any worker or anybody in the industry in Ireland, he's the best goddamn referee going. Like he really and truly is. And I love as a person, I love the guy. I get on with him like a house on fire. I'd kill for him. And we get on. We get on in every aspect, and we always have fun in the ring as well. Like lots of people kind of made a game of like taking pictures of us making each other pop and stuff like that, which we always do, and because we're able to have fun with each other. Now I'm sure some of the things we said in that ring would get it's gone. We'd be cancelled so quickly. But you see, you go in and you're trying to pop the other person, and you'll just fucking. I'm not going to say some of this. Obviously, I'm not going to say it, but like you'll say something fucking completely wrong, and you'll just like the other person just go, "What the fuck?" And like you could have like fucking the most important match coming up next, where you try and pop the other person just to alleviate tension. But yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way. I love Foxy to death, and I think fanfics will probably be coming soon about it as well.
Oh God, not again! It's 2012. It's 2012 all over again with these fanfics. But as well, like when you're saying yourself, obviously yourself and Foxy, much like myself, are big nerds. But when you find another nerd as well, and you could just be like this big, what you both come together, just one big nerd.
Oh yeah,
it's fucking brilliant.
And it's fantastic. Like we talk about so much more than wrestling, even though wrestling is a huge part. But it's like it's nice. It's a little palate cleanser. You've had 2 or 3 nights of wrestling on the trot. It's nice to be able to talk about fucking anime or fucking video games or fucking Foxy's pixel art business or stuff like, which you should check out, Foxy Bros.
You really should.
Excellent. That's absolutely excellent.
And just stuff like that. But it's so much fun. Genuinely so much fun to hang out with Foxy and other people like that as well. I can't praise it. It's one thing that keeps, like sometimes, like with any kind of job, you're doing it. The difference with myself and Foxy and Angus and Jamie, the 4 of us, and of course Joe, etc., is unlike some of the wrestlers, we're not generally rotated out. We're generally there constantly, unless personal issues or whatever means that we can't be at an event. So we're always there. So we don't have, it can be where you're doing it. And like any other job, you can have days where you're just like, I don't want to go do this. I want to stay at home. I want to hang out at home and all that, like any other thing, but those people make it worthwhile. Then you kind of think, oh, I get to see this person though. I get to hang out with them. I get to joke around. I get to go have a few drinks with Foxy. I get to fucking joke on Twitter that's date night and all that. And now people think that we're in a gay relationship, which is fucking hilarious.
The picture of you two, like I think it's like tagged like alcohol was involved. That's all the context you need. Where it's just yourself, Foxy, leg up, going into the case. Brilliant.
Yeah, there's a few that it's been weird, man. It's been weird, but it's been wonderful. It's been really, really good. And that's another good point. Is as I said, I was friends with Foxy before, but I suppose I would have said more acquaintances. But now that I work closely with him now, like, I mean, it's like that. Like, I mean, we couldn't be closer. We got each other's backs, and I think again, in the nature of what the business is, it's important that you have a few people you can go to, especially like I know, for instance, Foxy and Raven. I know I can go to those two people and I can say to them, was I the shits? Was that fucking bad? And they'll give me a genuine answer. And they'll tell me, yeah, that was fucking awful or whatever like that. And you need that because it's a person you trust and you're like, okay, fuck. And you can work on that. And you need somebody who's going to be honest with you and say, like, don't do that again, man. And that's how we get better. And I'll do the same like thing for Foxy and do the same thing for her as well. It's you'll catch things and then nobody else will say it, but you're in a position to be able to go up and say, hey, what the fuck was that? And nobody's
gonna take it the wrong way.
That's it. You kind of get to a point of closeness where it's just like, this comes from a place of love. And I think you're great at your job, but this one thing you did, nah, not good. And that's how we get better.
I'm very late to the party, but I only noticed this while obviously doing research for the interview. Is there any of those photographs left with yourself and Foxy with the Pokemon? I think that's
Jesse and James. Yeah,
Jesse and James. I can never remember their names, even though I grew up on that. I can never remember their name.
And that's all Foxy. And that's all Foxy. He decided. I don't know why he just arrived with these on there, and I was like, oh fuck it, okay. I thought they were the greatest thing. I didn't even get one. Shockingly, and I've just realized that now. Fucker. Oh fuck. Okay, I think I will be asking them. I think they'll be making a comeback, but I'm not sure. There may be new things on the horizon. You see, I'm always really, I think they're the coolest thing ever, and Foxy, Foxy, Jesus Christ, of the roster, Foxy's possibly the most over of anybody. So I think he's justified for having merch. It still feels weird for me to have any kind of merch. And he was saying that like I should do a T-shirt with like just a waistcoat on it, and all that. And I was like, that actually sounds really cool. A T-shirt with a waistcoat on it or whatever. Yeah. But I still feel weird doing it. I still feel really, really, really fucking weird. Where you have like, Bullet Smith, Sean Guinness, Omari, me, fucking Will Ospreay. Like it's just that something doesn't fit here. It feels weird.
I think the one time you'll catch yourself off guard is like if OTT did like, oh, top selling merch for this month, just 1, Dennis Murphy, 2, Will Ospreay, 3,
it's still, I put it like, it's always weird to me. I don't know if it'll ever stop, but when anybody asks for a photo with me or an autograph, right, like it's I love it, don't get me wrong, and I will do it for anybody, no problem at all. And it's just it's weird. I can't get my head around it. It's just like, I'm just speaking into a microphone. Why do you want my picture? Like it's weird. It's wonderful. Again, I love it, and I would never ever ever refuse a picture or an autograph with anybody. And seeing kids coming up and they're so kind of happy to talk to me. I'm just thinking why, but it's fantastic. So yeah, and again, that kid wearing the waistcoat and all that, that was one of the most adorable things I've ever seen. He just got an autograph, and I was in the middle of working, so when I'm calling the matches, I don't have a phone on me. If I did, I would have taken a photo myself because it was adorable. And I'm really sad I don't have that. If you are the father or parent of them watching this, please come up for a photo next time, because I would love that photo myself on it. But it's weird. But I think Foxy will probably be bringing some of that stuff back, probably for Scrapper, I imagine. But again, he kind of works under the same rules as I do to a large degree, where if we feel we're going to be trotting on any wrestler's feet or taking space away from anybody, we don't want to do that. We definitely don't want to do that. We might have stuff that people could request from us, but not. We don't want to take up space away from anybody. We're definitely, we're not there to get over, so we don't want to be. It's fun and it's great and it's a bit of extra money and all that stuff, but I definitely care more about. I don't want to be trodden on anybody's feet. I don't want to take up space and do that, either.
No, it's completely understandable as well. But if the day does come and those things come back, I call dibs on 4 of them.
Fucking get myself for one first. I can't believe I've only realized it now.
My older sister normally sits behind me. Her 2 favorite people are you and Foxy, and she was so nervous, bless her, to go up in homecoming. Foxy was just there talking. She was so nervous to go up to Foxy and just say hello. I was like, "Go on, like."
Foxy's a sweetheart.
We had Foxy. He was our first guest on the podcast. I was like, "Yeah, go on up to me. He's great." Oh no. And her first I doubt you remember, but just before the homecoming show, we were walking out. I could not for the life of me find the front entrance, and you were just outside the side of it having a smoke. And I was like, obviously, I was like, "Oh, that's Six Waistcoat," and I went, "To where the front of the complex is." He went, "Oh yeah, it's just around there in the corner." And we start walking down. My sis just goes, "Was that 60 Waistcoat?" I was like, "Yeah, that was Dennis." And she goes, "Oh my god."
So many people don't. When I'm dressed normally, Foxy's daughter came up to me and didn't fucking know it was me. I was like, "It's just a waistcoat. It's not that different." Now that said, actually, I'll embarrass his daughter a little bit here as well. So Foxy's daughter is a huge Raven Creed fan. So anytime Raven is with Raven, again, travels everywhere with me, but whenever she's in the car, we go like to Foxy's house or whatever. She's too shy to come out and meet Raven and like that, and all that. So it's adorable. But yeah, generally we're all approachable. I've been asked why I don't why I'm not there at intermission or anything like that a lot, as much as Foxy say, going around. And that's purely because usually I'm doing one of 2 things. I'm trying to get up some like information that I haven't gotten already, and I'm trying to lay out shit. Or 2, I'm fucking smoking because I'm stressed to the gills. So like that's generally it. But I'll never ever refuse a chat or a photo or an autograph or anything like that with anybody. I'm extremely grateful, and I thank my lucky stars every day I'm in the position I'm in. And I'm extremely grateful for the fans, as I said, for accepting me from day one. I was fully expecting to get roasted from day one, and I never did. So I'm eternally grateful for that, because I'm a fragile soul. So I'll always chat to people about them and all that,
Now, I think the fragile soul is the great transition into the one person who just seems to terrorize your life and your job.
For fuck's sake. I know exactly what you're going to fucking say straight
Mr.
away.
Sammy D.
Look, Sammy knows how good he is. That's part of the problem. Sammy D is undoubtedly one of, if not the best wrestler in Ireland at the moment. Fantastic at what he does. But he's a fucking bully, like true and true. And I know what he's doing with me. and I know what he's trying to get me to do, and I'm adamant that's not going to happen. Because so Sammy comes into the ring constantly, and he constantly fucks with me, and I know he does it because he knows this is what I was saying earlier on. I'm trying to be professional. I'm trying to present myself a certain way, and Sammy knows that I'm not going to rise to him doing stuff because I'm trying to be professional, and also I'm trying to keep my job. So I don't want to do something like that where I get in trouble with Joe and it leads to this whole thing and blah 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 blah, because it's unplanned or whatever the fuck. But so Sammy comes out and he pushes it fucking far, and it's embarrassing. And like, he's made me kneel in the middle of the ring. He's done it's been very embarrassing. I will say that. And I won't pretend to know his end game, but it feels to me like he's looking for me to do something, to like, I don't know, to fucking rise to it or get physical or something like that, so that he can go back then and fucking say gone or whatever. And you know, especially if he's leading into Scrapper Mania where he has the chance to become world champion. He gets world champion to draw, essentially, with the exception of the OTT Women's Championship. They hold all the gold. And with that comes a certain amount of power. To a degree. Obviously, Joe is still in charge, but, you know, they have a certain amount of power. He's a bully through and through, and he just likes abusing anything, any power he might have, and he wants to assert himself dominance. And look what I can do. Look how I can manhandle this person, and they can't do fuck, because if they do, they're in trouble and they're gone. So I know what he wants from me. I know what he's trying to do, and he's trying to embarrass me, and it makes him feel like the big man and all that stuff. I constantly have Foxy beside me. And to be fair, Foxy's constantly the one saying, like, breathe, you know, don't fucking listen. And he's constantly pushing Sammy away and stuff like that as well, because he sees it too. And he wouldn't stop. And I hear, you know, the fans and stuff chanting, you know, fuck him up and all this stuff. And it's you know, that's really cool and all, but like, I was just saying how lucky I am to be in this position, how grateful I am to be in this position. You see stuff like that, unplanned stuff like this, that's when you start risking your position. With people like Sammy, these are the type of bullies. These are the lads that go straight to Joe Cabre and they say, oh, he put his hands on, or this is not professional, or he's one of your office staff, and you let him treat one of your wrestlers this way. I want him reprimanded, or I want him gone, or whatever. And it just gives him ammo and it gives him stuff. And I'm not going to do that. So I can just, I don't want to say I can just take it. There's a certain amount I can take, obviously, but I'm very grateful Foxy's beside me to kind of bring it all down and kind of bring it back to where it should be, and remind Sammy he has a job to do. You know, I won't lie though. I mean, it's made me biased. I respected Sammy. I still do respect Sammy to a degree, but it's made me biased. Going into Scrapper Mania, I want O'Mari to take it. You know, like you wouldn't believe, I want O'Mari to take it. Because I don't want to see fucking. I don't think Sammy deserves to be rewarded for his actions the way he's done it. You know, in that way. So it's maybe biased. And as a ring announcer, obviously, same way as with a referee, shouldn't be biased. But it's kind of hard not to be. That shit.
Especially like we were talking about your waistcoats and stuff further on. That must have been like a near enough expensive waistcoat at the Christmas party.
Fucking, that's it's funny. It's funny because do you know what's funny is I was actually approached by several fans afterwards and saying, gimmicked waistcoat. I swear to God, that was not a gimmicked waistcoat. That was not ripped or anything beforehand. I showed it to the fans afterwards. It was not meant to be ripped. Granted, it was only a fucking, you know, Wish special or something nice for fucking Christmas, and that was it. I didn't even get to wear it for one whole match, and he fucking ripped it off me. Like, again, it's just he's annoyed. Apart from being a bully, he's annoyed at something that he views as both stupid and something he has no control over. He's made no kind of secret that he doesn't respect me. I don't know if he likes me, but he doesn't respect me. And look, I'm fine with that, but it annoys him then that people like the waistcoats. Does that make sense? That they like the waistcoat?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he can't control that. He has no say in that. He can control his matches, he can do, but he has no say in stuff like that. So it annoys him. And so, like, again, and it's something he can do to just piss people off. I mean, look, again, I won't deny how good he is. I think you're stupid if you deny how good Sammy D is. He's on the run of his life, and he's dominating the scene everywhere he goes. But Jesus, I mean, it's just it's annoying. It's annoying sometimes. And now you see that it was one thing when he was on his own, and then Charlie and Flex joined him, and then fucking Danny Cross joined him, and all this shit. And then now it's like this little swarm of fucking dickheads all together. Again, super talented, but dickheads. And that's annoying. For me, that's annoying. And that's annoying for a lot of people as well, where you're like, they're so fucking good. Jesus Christ, I'd love to see them get their fucking arses fucking handed to them. You know? So you want to respect them, but you also want to see them get their teeth kicked in. I won't lie, I saw fucking Danny Cross getting his head split open, and I laughed. It was funny. Dipshit. You know, fucking bled a little. Good for you. You turned your back on everybody. Fair play. There's a fucking smack for you now, and everybody loved you, and you fucking threw it away. Spa. Like, what are you doing? You know, like, you know, that's an inappropriate word in this day and age. I apologize. I'm an old man. I didn't mean it that way. Idiot.
Aegis.
That's a good one.
What do you think are the possible chances of seeing Sexy Waistcoat and Foxy go for the tag team titles? Try and end the draw.
It'd be brilliant, but Foxy'd have to do all the heavy lifting there. Foxy can go, man. Foxy can go. He proved it. Foxy can still go, and all that. Look, anything to just for a fucking second see a bit of a smile wiped off of Sammy D's face will be fucking worth it. I'd take a fucking kick to the jaw. I'd take a punch to the jaw if I just saw that smile go off, that smug fucking shit-eating grin gone for just a second. It'd be fucking worth it. Really worth it. But again, I'm a professional, so it's not going to be me doing anything, because I enjoy the job I have too much to let personal shit like that boil over. We can just avoid each other in the locker room, and then he can do his stupid 12-year-old shit when he's in the ring with me, and I'll be pissed off for a little while, and then I'll calm down and we'll be fine. You know, but he'll Omari will teach him a harsh lesson. Scrapper Mania. You're not going to push somebody like Omari around, you know.
And that's something the fans can look forward to now. Scrapper.
It's going to be an absolute. I mean, I know everybody's talking about John Moxley and but there's so much more going on as well. That one, Omari and Sammy D, that's something to really, really get excited for. It's going to be an amazing match. It's going to be fantastic. Omari, again, so good, ungodly strong. so strong. I mean, I don't know if you've seen it, but hoisting Big Demo up for that flip, and I mean that's insane strength. Big Demo's legitimately over 20 stone, and to be able to do that is mind-boggling. Just his strength. If you see him then in there with likes of Terry Thatcher, and he throws him around like he's absolutely, Terry Thatcher is smaller guy, but it's deceptive when you're in there. Terry Thatcher, smaller guy, but he's not exactly, he's a lot of muscle. He's not exactly light, but you throw him around like he's nothing.
Made him look like paper.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Sammy D, nah, he is what he is. And yeah, I'd prefer to just not have much interactions with him. That'd be brilliant.
Well, we'll bring up the mood a bit. Obviously, I know this is a wrestling podcast, but I'm an absolute nerd at heart, so I got to bring in some games here. So I was so happy to find out you're a gamer as well. One of the things I'll bring this up first, we're talking about games, is that Nintendo Entertainment System Lego.
Yes. That was a Christmas gift, and it was delightful, and it's brilliant.
Is
it
it built?
Me 2 days. It's done.
2 days.
Done. Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, not two, but I say 2 days. 2 sessions of building it over 2 days.
Yeah.
But it's fantastic. I love those ones that are kind of the older ones. I'm still I'm a big kid. I'm perfectly happy getting a big set of Lego and sitting there quietly around Christmas just building it. I love it. Like I have a BB-8 big one. I have Batmobile, Ghostbusters, I like the Ecto one. I have the Nintendo one and all that. And then in the room here, I'll show you on the wall we have
look at that.
Tons and tons of those.
Just for the listeners, the people on Spotify, a whole load of Funko Pops.
Yeah, quite a lot, including massive ones at the top. There's all this fucking mini ones here. There's some of Foxy's pixel art up on the fucking wall as well. And that's my niece's painting as well. And so it's all like nerdy stuff I love, but Lego, I always love me some Lego.
So for me, like it's always on display. Like I've got behind me, I have my wrestling plaques. I have the OTT title there.
Ooh, it's a very nice one actually.
Yeah, the thing is, right? I keep saying to the lads, I'm convinced that's bigger than the one Amari has. Because this is a huge, heavy title. Oh my god! And as well, just I know I don't have to go off and say this, but if people want a good replica belt, oh my god, that belt, like leather wise, everything is absolutely amazing.
I mean, it looks legit. Like it does look legit.
If I take it off the wall, but I built on the couch and show me the camera. So I'll next time. But it is heavy, proper leather as well. Like we weren't expecting anything of it, and oh my god, well worth the money. But then so I've got my, we'll say, special Funko Pops up here. You can see my dad's Star Wars ones over there. A really cool one here, actually, if I can point it right. This one here is actually, do you know the end of the 6th movie with the ghosts appearing?
Yes, yeah.
It's a glow in the dark.
Oh my god!
Of Anakin, Obi-Wan, and
Yoda. Oh, that's so cool. That is so fucking cool.
Found that one day on Amazon. It's like, of course I'm buying that. But I've got like Overwatch, Invader Zim, which was a show I grew up with.
Oh yes, hell yeah, yeah.
Found a Gurren Zim pop, literally marked out when I found it, and then I've got a whole bunch of wrestling ones. But like,
it's literally, when I grew up, I got disposable income, and this is what happened.
I'm growing up. I have income coming in now, and here's the end result of it.
Yeah, it's
tattoos and nerd shit.
That's pretty much that's me too. Just fucking tattoos and nerdy shit going around on them as well. Like, but I love same again like Lego video games. I'm fucking happy. Like fucking hell yeah. Like that's my dream evening, is just fucking hanging out, playing some video games, and fucking building some Lego. Like, that's a wet dream for me. That's fucking.
So what do you play on then? Are you a Switch person, Xbox, PlayStation, or PC?
I have a Switch. I have a PS5. I have an Oculus as well.
Savage.
And I think that's all I have at the moment. I think. Yeah, so PS5 is my main go-to. On it at the moment, I'm on Dead Space, and Hogwarts Legacy. As controversial as that may be, I apologize to anybody who's doing it, but I don't. I do so little, as you probably seen. I have so little interaction on social media. I don't do a lot on social media. That all of that stuff is just so I just play a game that I think looks good. For the same thing happened. My favorite game franchise of all time is The Last of Us.
Oh yeah.
Same thing happened with all that and Last of Us 2. I missed that whole thing that people were giving out about. Because I was just like, hey, game, play. You know, so, and I loved it. I loved it. I
It's kind of a one person like it's a game. At the end of the day, it is a video game. You know that it's. You know, I could go to work and I could have a really shitty day. Okay, I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna play Overwatch, and that's gonna make me forget everything. You know.
Yep. Exactly. And that's I look. I view wrestling the same way. Like what you like. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. I don't care.
Once it's not a weapon against us, do what you want.
That's it. I'm always the same, and I'm the same with most things. I don't really. I don't. You can have differing opinions to me. You can like me. You can hate me. You can do all that stuff. You can like games that whatever. If it doesn't affect me, it's none of my business. I don't care. And I view the same way. And I've said as much in the ring. I've said it to people, and it's there as well. I genuinely do not care. Your race, religion, sexuality, what you identify as. I don't. Do you. Whatever makes you happy. I do not care. It's not that I don't care, but it doesn't affect me. Your happiness. You be happy. Do what makes you happy. I support you. No problem at all. I don't. It's not a conversation that I need to weigh in on because it doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
So I stay out of it completely. I just say that I support you because I think everybody has a right to be happy and everybody has a right to pursue the pastimes that they enjoy if as long as they're non-harmful to others or anything like that. Pursue your pastimes, enjoy them. Everybody's entitled to let some steam off after a tough day. We all have shitty days. We all have stuff going on, so we're entitled to let steam off in whatever way we deem fit. You know,
100%. And that's why I keep saying to a lot of people, like a lot of my mates come up, like, oh, what you think of this? It's like, all right, well, does it affect me? No. Okay. Is it gonna be harmful to me? No. I don't care. You do you.
Yeah, you do you. Absolutely. You've my support. I fully support you doing what makes you happy. It doesn't affect me. I'm not going to pretend that I know what it's like. Absolutely not. Because it don't. But makes you happy, knock yourself out. Go for it.
Exactly.
No issue with anything like that.
Exactly. I'll switch it around now. So I'm gonna ask about the Nintendo Switch because I don't know if you watched like the Nintendo Directs and stuff like that, of like games coming out. But like, you had spoke about like growing up. It's gone on my head now. Spoke growing up on what game console was it you said you grew up on? It was like a Nintendo one.
You see, well, I had a few growing up. So, like, my first one was a Commodore 60. Jesus, I'm old. Commodore 64 was my very first console. There you go, kids. Right, that's one that fucking
all the kids going, what?
Yeah, the games were on a fucking cassette tape. There you fucking go. You had to put it into a player to load that shit. First games I had, I remember them vividly. Fucking Terminator and Paperboy. And I played those things to death. And then I moved on to a Sega Mega Drive. And then after the Sega, I moved to a PlayStation. And since PlayStation, I have stuck with PlayStation. I've been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stuck with those ones. So I suppose growing up, like if you're talking about when I actually properly got into games, like going into my teens and stuff like that was the 90s. So it was PlayStation 1 was the one that I spent proper time on with like, you know, the kind of the big games and all that. So I suppose that was the one. Yeah.
I remember where I was going because we were talking about earlier on, like, oh, this makes me feel even there, like, oh, this. I had that moment yesterday because the Nintendo did their announcement of games, and now I grew up on like PS2 and like the Nintendo 64, which is not there. I had this moment. I put up on my Instagram, like, guys, like Mario Kart Super Circuit is now considered and going to be part of the classic, you know, the pay the extra, you get to play like NES and all this.
Yeah.
Game Boy Advance is the next thing. And I went, oh my god, it's a classic. I grew up. I
welcome to my world, bitches. It's not fucking nice, is it?
No, it's not. I had someone
just gonna say I grew up on the SNES, like.
All right, finally, you can identify with me.
Yeah, I'm on your level. I'm with you.
Yeah, okay, good.
Like I was there with the characters going, oh my fucking god, you're a classic now. What the fuck?
It's horrible. It's horrible. I put it up on Twitter the other day, and this genuinely happened to me. I fucking met somebody that had never heard of Nirvana. And that angered me. It angered me so much to the point I was just like, what the fucking mean you haven't heard of Nirvana? What's wrong with you?
I'll add to that story. I actually saw that and I meant to reply. So I there about 2 weeks ago, but same thing happened in this house. My sister. So I've always been very big on, I'll never buy a band's merch that I don't like, or, you know, because I don't want the awkward conversation. Oh, you like them too? No.
Yeah.
I think Pennies or something have started doing like Nirvana stuff.
There was a big time during the early noughties that they did that too. Nirvana they had the smiley face. It was the big fucking seller. Yeah.
My sister has a jumper, and my mother at the dinner table turns around and goes, "Name me one song." Name me one member. She couldn't. And she goes, "Why are you wearing that?"
Well, I felt so old, and the thing is, like, it's weird. Like, it's weird getting older because I still feel like a kid, and I still play video games, and I have the stupidest sense of humor, and I still say stupid things, and I still, like, I'm shocked I haven't been cancelled yet. But I still act like I'm in my early 20s or late teens and all that shit. Yeah. Like, granted, then I had long hair, but still, it's weird. It's weird because I still. Everything's the same. You suddenly feel old and you suddenly go, oh my God, what? Like, mentioning something that seems so, like, everybody knows Nirvana, it's Nirvana. It's a no-brainer, you know, and then suddenly somebody is like, I don't know what you're talking about. And you're like, are you for fucking real? And it's like, you've never heard of fucking Nirvana. And it's like, do you know the Foo Fighters? Yeah, kinda. And you're like, kinda? What the?
What do you mean, kinda?
Like, where do I go with this? How could I? What? Like, I remember as well, like, do you know how it came about? It was in work, and I was playing music, and Smells Like Teen Spirit, one of the biggest songs of fucking all time, right? Came on. And she was like, fucking old man music. I went,
Cheek. Ooh.
Smells Like Teen fucking Spirit, old man. Are you, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you know.
That was in my like top 50 songs on my Spotify in 2021. Like, I was still listening to it then.
You're just like, you start becoming the old person. You start identifying. You're going, who do you think you fucking are, whippersnapper? Fucking coming in here with your TikToking and your bip bopping and fucking when back in my day, let me tell you, fucking.
I'm waiting for this to happen with wrestling to say. I'm waiting for like you to mention the names of like Roddy Piper and like Randy Savage and people to go, who are these guys?
It'll happen. It'll happen.
Yeah.
People will go like Shawn Michaels. I mean, I heard about him, but I never really watched any of his matches. And you're going, are you for fucking real? What? Shawn fucking Michaels? Yeah, he's that guy. He does the general manager thing in NXT, didn't he? He didn't do anything else, did he? You're just what? Shawn Michaels.
That's the point. You take a step back and you super kick him.
It's like, oh my god! Like, I mean, that'll be a horrifying day. That will be a horrifying day. Like, it's yeah, but it's. Oh no, I don't want to think about it. It genuinely depresses me.
Look what you've done now, Carmo.
Because you can't stop it. Just like you're just drinking and you're like, I'm gonna get old and die. Brilliant.
Thanks, world.
You're just like, fuck it. Well, shit.
Time to go back to my console now.
Yeah.
Well, I had to get that story because it was literally so like 24 hours ago. I was just there holding the cartridge, just going, "The fuck do you mean you're a classic?" You know,
it's horrible. It's a horrible feeling, right? It's absolutely
terrible.
awful.
Terrible,
Yeah.
Especially like I've got mates now who are about 2 maybe 4 years old, younger than me, who'd be going like, "You played what?" I played like what's an old game like WWF SmackDown. That's a great game. Is it? Never played it. What the fuck do you mean never fucking played it?
Another example. I've seen loads of people saying like about. I remember when Final Fantasy VII Remake was coming out, and I was so fucking psyched for this. I was just fucking like, "Oh, this is my jam, brilliant." It's finally happening. You'd be fucking. This has been building for fucking years. We fucking want this. I came out, and then like loads of people were like, "Final Fantasy VII, what a stupid name for a game. Why the fuck would I want to get that?" And you're just like, I'm doing everything in my power right now not to strangle you. That just like fucking. Walk away, right? Like,
where's the nearest still chair, and I slap him.
Yeah.
Mr. Carmo, have you got any more questions you want to ask, Mr.?
I think we're actually all good. I think we've gone through pretty much everything, and if not, we'll save it for the next time that we have you on.
Oh, there's gonna be a whole like getting old, like video games now.
Yeah,
the next time.
Yeah. Oh, anytime, like, this has been so much fun. I'm really, really sorry. I ramble and I don't answer questions, and I'm fucking shit.
As we said
earlier, sorry.
You make our job easier. Yeah, you make everything much easier for us.
I'm sorry for anybody listening that gets annoyed by it. I get annoyed by it too. I feel your pain. I do it all the time. Ask Foxy, ask Raven. I interrupt all the fucking time, and I go off on tangents, and it's annoying as shit. And I will probably get killed for it one day, and that will be how I die.
So it's okay. The only person mad right now was that little 14-year-old going, "I can't believe they're fucking saying that I'm being so mean because they're all boomers." That's the only person pissed off right now.
No, listen, technically I'm a millennial, so I'll take that.
But they all call us boomers, don't they? I can't go a day without being called a boomer by somebody.
Oh man, I just don't.
This is
another reason how fucking me and the other two get on so well. Even though Foxy's closer to me and Raven's just young, but like she's bitter. So like, so it works.
We're the weird kind of upbeat guys. She's
we literally we do say we have a she is my road wife and he is my road son. That's just how it is. Like we are a road family. That's just how it rolls.
Good way to have it.
Exactly. You gotta have that, especially the wrestling business. You gotta have that.
Yes, yes, definitely.
But it has been absolutely great. We'll be respect for your time because we're coming up, I think, close in another 20 minutes. We're at 2 hours. At this point, people are going, right, when the next episode's out now in 20 minutes.
This is what I meant. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for dragging
No,
it.
You're grand. Again, as we said, it makes our job easier, and as well, it's a longer podcast for the people to listen to and they enjoy it. But Dennis, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We'll definitely have you on again one day. Is there any social media? Is there anything you want to plug?
You can check out my Twitter at Mike.Murph. That's the only one that I again, that's what I'm saying. I'm not really overly active on it, but like if you want to, like, obviously you can message me on there and whatever, and usually I'll respond. Instagram is the one I can't even remember my fucking Instagram tag. Oh, I think it's at Cutter Clown. Yeah, at Cutter Clown.
I can double check that.
And you can message me on there as well. I'll generally respond to messages, but don't be offended if I don't. I am perennially just awful at, like, even my closest fucking friends and partners and stuff will tell you I'm fucking really bad for responding to messages and shit. I've been dropped on my head a lot, and it just goes. And yeah, I apologize in advance. But if you see me in person, if you're at a show, if you're anything like that, and you for some reason feel the need to chat to the ring announcer, by all means come up and have the chats with me. No issue at all. Doing that face to face, not a problem.
Perfect.
Oh, and I should say check out the Nerds Are Us YouTube channel as well, which is Foxy and a few others run that channel over there. I do appear quite a lot on that channel as well with them.
Perfect. Actually, to be fair, I'd forgotten about that. So that would be a great question. But next time. But Dennis, thank you again so much for coming on. I'm gonna put you on the spot just because obviously we've got Mr. Sexy Waistcoat. I know I will. Don't worry, you're still gonna get your outro, Carmo. Would you mind, ending the podcast for us with your own little thing? With your own spin.
All right, folks, thank you so much for joining us here on the 5Marks podcast. It has been so much fun, as always. We hope you had a great time too. Make sure you tune in next time, where you'll get loads and loads and loads more good stuff. As always, it's been real. See you later.
Perfect. Mr. Carmo, do you want to do your outro? Just because we have such a unique outro. Everyone either laughs, says love it, or just goes, yeah, I won't be on next time.
All right, I'm geared up. I'm ready.
Mr. Carmo.
I don't think I can do any better than what Dennis just did. But Dennis, again, thank you so much for coming on. Thank everybody for listening again. We will see you all again next week. But for this week, we are officially ding, ding, done.
That's brilliant. That's